we'll see how it goes. Today we're going to work on the stability ball because it is by far the best thing for the abdominals. And there's a couple of really great exercises. Actually, there's many, of course, but there's several that people do consistently wrong, just plain old wrong. So we're going to go over those and show you how to get the most out of it. So first thing is get your hair out of the way. All right. So I'm going to move that a little ways. Now the crunch. That is definitely one of those things that people don't do correctly. Most of the time when I see people doing crunches on the ball, they're way up here and they're coming up like almost like a full sit-up and definitely not taking advantage of what the ball is all about. So you need to get really comfortable on the ball so that you can actually walk back and stretch over the ball. So number one, that feels really good on your back, but you also want to stretch so that you can get your back to curve right over that ball as much as possible. Because the further you stretch back, the further you're also stretching the abdominals. Now I'm going to support my neck because I need that. And if you need that, that's certainly going to be the priority. So keep your hands behind your head. Now, you're going to keep your eyes up on the ceiling and do your regular crunch, which means here to here. That's it. If you were crunching on the floor, you'd only come up a little bit, right? Well, the difference here is that your deep stretch over there is actually pre-stretching the abdominals so that when you tighten them, you're actually going to use more of them to pull yourself up. So initially, yeah, you're going to feel like you're using a little bit of your body and not isolating the abs, but the stronger you get, the easier it's going to be to feel. So when we're doing a crunch on the ball, it's just coming up to where you're almost parallel to the floor, but you're really focusing on that stretch back there. You are not going to be coming all the way up like that and back down. Now, I'm going to stop for a second and explain a few things. When we're stretching over the ball, I'm going to talk about three sections. Your lower abdominals, which is between the belly button and below, your belly button, pardon me, and your upper abdominals. Okay, we're just segmenting them so you can concentrate on them. They are all going to work together. And of course, your obliques are those little fingers on the sides. So when we stretch, we want to take a deep breath and you want to feel it pull all the way down in those lower abdominals. And then you want to take that section, push that in first, then the belly button, and then using the upper abs to pull your body a little higher. So deep breath, feel the stretch all the way down to those lower abs, then start there. Think of it like a zipper. Pull it in, then the belly button, then the upper abs. And yes, if you go this slowly, you're going to feel it a lot more. Now, the main thing, though, is that you want to concentrate on using your abdominals to lift your body. You don't want to actually lift your body and then squeeze the abdominals because that's not the abdominals doing the work, and that is what we're trying to do here. So you probably won't be able to do a lot. If you're really isolating the abdominals, maybe you can get 6 or 10. If you're not isolating the abdominals and you're using more of your momentum or your upper body, then yeah, you're going to get 15, 20, 25, but they're not going to be good ones. So anytime somebody tells me that they can do that many on the ball, I know they're not doing them right. They're not focusing on using the middle to pull your body up. So think about that each time. The deep stretch being most important, and then think of your segments. Pull it in, pull it in, pull it in. And that's going to help you learn to use those abdominals to actually lift your body upward. So that would be your crunch, always focusing on the deepest stretch possible. The other thing is if you're doing those crunches and you start to feel your lower back ache a little bit, then you're done. Your abdominals have fatigued, your lower back's trying to take over, and you stop. Stop and rest a little bit. Try to do 1 or 2 more. 1 or 2 quality ones and then a little bit of rest is going to do you so much more good than trying to do 10 or 15 that really aren't truly using the abdominals. And by far, that is the best exercise for the abdominals across the board because there's really no other exercise that gives you that pre-stretch through the abdominals to help you really feel more of them. Now, the next exercise that's great, and you know what, I don't know why I turned it this way. We'll go this way, is planks. And we all familiar with all the different kind of planks that you can do. And of course, there's several different ways to do them on the ball as well. You can do that where you walk out on the ball, which we're going to do first. And with that one, you're going to walk out And it just depends on how comfortable you are. Okay, the main thing here is take your shoulders, pull them down towards your hips, keep your shoulder blades pinched, and then just keep walking until you either run out of room or you have your knees on the ball. This would be probably like a beginner intermediate, or you can walk out even further. I'm not sure if I'll still be in the picture, but you can walk out even further and have just the toes on the ball or the shoes or whatever. So you're still keeping that plank, you're still keeping the shoulder blades pinched. Now you also need to walk back in position, and that is also part of the exercise because you really have to control your abdominals to come all the way back to your starting position. So like any other plank, you're going to go ahead and keep the abs tight to stabilize yourself. I'm going to back up a little bit because with this plank, we can also take it to an elbow plank. So we can walk it out into our regular plank, which is also the position that you would do if you were going to be doing push-ups or tricep push-ups too. You can make it real challenging and go down onto the elbows. Okay, now granted, this part is not quite as challenging, but when we have to go back up again, it's going to get challenging. And of course, you do one side, you got to do the other. Right there, hold, maybe even take a break, come back up, hold, and walk it back. So the stronger you get with those, the longer you'll be able to hold it, and the longer you hold it, the more parts you're going to feel. Because think back to our crunch. Lower abs, belly button, upper abs, obliques. And of course, lower back is there too. So your planks on top of the ball, now that's another story. You can actually start right here in the kneeling position. Just kind of get used to your body being on the ball. Because the one thing I see the most is people sink into it. And you're not supposed to be sinking into it. You're not supporting yourself on the ball at all. Like every plank, you want to pull your shoulders back and down. So this position here, your posture position, is going to allow your abdominals to work and your back to work. You're not going to be putting all this stress on your shoulders. So if you do planks and you really find your shoulders hurt, you're not doing them right. You've got to pinch the shoulder blades, activate the back, keep that back in the right position, pretty much for every single exercise you do. So starting there, then we can come out and walk the hands out, keeping it tall, and then you can come up. So now you're really sitting off the ball, using a lot of the abdominals, and we can take it right back down again. So always starting in that perfect posture. I can't stress that enough. Now the other one you can do with that, and of course, with that actual elbow plank, you can also have the variations of like the toe taps and the scorpions and stuff like that. So the next one would be what I call the rollout or the preacher roll. People call them different things, but basically start with your good posture, get about a hand's width apart, and you're going to slowly roll forward until you're in that position. Now, if you just have a yoga mat like I do, then you might want to give it a couple of rolls because that way it'll give a little cushion for your knees. All right, so we'll try that again. So you're going to keep that perfect posture nice and tall, shoulders back and down, roll out onto the elbows, and then come back in. So of course the middle is going to stay nice and tight the whole time. You can pause, go 1, 2, exhale, come back. The lower you go on these, the better. And when you're down here, focus on squeezing those shoulder blades down towards your hips. Now it's kind of like the old-fashioned wheel. You know, you've probably seen them with the handles on each side and you wheel out and you wheel back, but you have a little more control over how much of your abdominals you're using. So if you want to make that more difficult, well, easier would be closer to you. More difficult would be starting really far away from you, because obviously that way you have less of your body on the ball and then coming back. So you really need to concentrate here on number one, holding, tightening those abs, and then using them to draw your body backward. So think of it as if you're in your plank position and you're making the letter C with your stomach. So you're kind of caving out through here to activate everything and pull it back. And probably the biggest thing I see on that is just people sinking into it and just really all over the ball, which is definitely not what you want to do. So we have crunches on the ball, planks on the ball, and we're just going to do one more thing today because I am still kind of testing the setup. I have no idea how it's going to come out, but isn't that fun? All right, the lower abdominals, that would be belly button and below. Now, obviously, they're still all working together, but we can isolate a little teeny bit more of that like we do with the upper crunch here. Okay, because see how this form is almost the same on the ball? You just have that stretch over the ball. So those lower abdominals, if we put the ball in between your legs and give it a little teeny bit of a squeeze, it's going to keep your hip flexors busy. So when we do that lower abdominal press, you're going to feel even more. So the lower abdominal press, in case you didn't know, is taking that gap between your back and the floor and just eliminating it. And basically your hips are going towards the ceiling. You're not throwing your legs back and forth. They're not going down and up again. Okay, I see that all the time. And all of that is hip flexor. Okay, I don't even want to do it with the ball, but when you see people doing the abdominals like this with the legs, just picture two legs there, or even legs with the ball flying back and forth, that's all in the hips. And that's pulling on the low back, and that's going to end up with a problem. So it's just pushing the hips towards the ceiling, which simultaneously presses the low back into the floor. So if you can feel yourself press into your fingertips. After you get used to that small motion, you'll know that you're just pushing belly button, lower abs into the floor. Hold for a second. So here, hold, release. Hold, release. You give yourself a chance to hold it and exhale for the upper abdominals. So see how small that is? Which is very much like your crunch. That's why we don't do the full sit-ups anymore. And believe it or not, I still see people doing that in the gym. So right there, you have got your best abdominal exercises, period. End of story. Those are probably the only ones you need to do. And pretty much the lower abdominal curl that we just did and the crunches. And the planks are always really good for core stability too. I mean, they're all working the core, but they're all good exercises if you do them correctly. So hopefully you can practice that, and next time we do a full-on workout, you'll be doing them perfectly. So I will see you next time.